let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Drake and Kendrick battle. But I want to talk about from a business. I have a few business lessons that I think can be learned from this marketing and business lessons. And I'll first start off by saying who won. The biggest winner is Universal Records. The biggest loser is J. Cole. But in the semantic battle of who won, Kendrick Lamar won the battle, or is winning the battle, in my opinion. But what's interesting is that I think you can learn something from this, right? And the first thing is be extremely careful about accepting challenges when you have everything to lose and nothing to gain. I always say it's not really advantageous to fight down. It is very advantageous to fight up, right?
Fight up. Yep.
In this situation, I think Drake had nothing to really gain in this situation and everything to lose. And I felt that the public was going to pretty much say he lost no matter what he did. He would have had to execute a flawless game plan, a flawless delivery. Anything short of absolute perfection, the fight was kind of fixed. Not to say that Kendrick did what he's supposed to do, but Drake just had so much negativity that just the public animosity for him. It was kind of a no-win situation for him.
Really cool. What caused that animosity, you think? Because I think that's a great lesson too, and what not to do.
Any type of success breeds envy, man.
Well, I think it's certain, there's a reason why Jay-Z is not on Instagram, why you don't see him, right? There's a reason why Eminem, you never see him. There's a reason why Dr. Dre, you never see him, right? Like, very few people can maintain over a decade of dominance and be in the public eye for all the time and not garnish some level of resentment and hate. It's human nature, right? So I think a lot of it just comes from people just don't like to see people winning for long periods of time. It's like LeBron James, right?
That's it. Perfect. That's the perfect comparison.
Another part of it, I think it might be some level of his personality, right? Where he's kind of a person that's easy to hate, right? Let's just be honest. Like, you would traditionally say it like, he's like a corny guy, right? Like traditionally, like that would be somebody who got money and kind of, so it's like, that's always an easy target to kind of pick on somebody like that, right? His upbringing, he's Jewish, he's from Canada, he had the afro, he was on Nickelodeon, he was in the wheelchair, and then he came, and then it's, the narratives. So these are easy narratives to kind of place and put on him, right? He's not from America, he's from Canada. It's a whole thing. And that's part of it, I think, and then also I think, he's done things to kind of troll other people in the past, and that that's kind of been synonymous with his personality. It's kind of like, a troll and somebody who's kind of arrogant, and, so those type of people are always easy targets as well. Right? Variety of different factors that kind of make him an easy target. So just be mindful of that when you're building your personal persona, your business persona, that, you have to be whoever you feel comfortable being. But in that type of role, you're going to garnish more hate, as opposed to somebody like Kendrick Lamar or J. Cole, who I don't think anybody hates them, right? They might not like their music, but I never heard one person like really vehemently like dislike them as a person, right? Like they're pretty, it's hard to dislike somebody like that. You don't even see them. They're not flashy. They dress down every time you see them. They don't talk about taking people's girls. They don't show their cars. They don't show their houses. They haven't flashed any money. They don't talk about money. They've kind of checked all the boxes that Drake doesn't. Drake checks every other box. Like, you know what I'm saying? So they're like really total opposites. Shaping narratives is extremely important in marketing for yourself and for your opponent, right? Because what I realized in marketing is that it's not necessarily what's true, it's what people believe to be true.
That's crazy, but you're right.
I mean, we see this all the time, right? Like, if you really look at the thing, and this is probably a blackout topic, but it's been historically proven that Jesus Christ wasn't born in December, right? If you look at the archives, but it was marketed. That's how it was marketed, and it's Christmas. So nobody really cares when his actual birthday is. It's not of importance, right? What's more important is the celebration of Christmas, right? So that's a marketing campaign which garnishes trillions of dollars in spending globally every single year, and it works, right? So the actual truth behind it is irrelevant at this point. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
What is more important is what people believe, right? And there's been some narratives that may not be true, but doesn't really necessarily matter, right? It was said. People, the thing about saying something too is that the crazy thing about saying something is that once you say something, somebody never forgets what you said. Somebody never forgets it, right? So even if it gets debunked and it said it's not true, it doesn't really matter because there's going to be some people that still believe it or still remember it, right? So these narratives, whether it's self-inflicted narratives about yourself, some people make up stories about themselves, right? Or it's you make up narratives about your opponent to try to diminish them. That's a tactic that has been used in business for a long period of time. It's not clean, right? But it's one. It
happened with Ralph Lauren and Tommy Hilfiger back in the day.
Exactly. With Tommy Hilfiger, remember that they said that Tommy Hilfiger was a racist. They never really showed you him say this, but it was said enough that to this day, a lot of people still
do business
because they think that he's racist. It's a perfect example.
Yep.
I think you have to take your time and be calculated, and confident in your plan and move with speed. Success loves speed. So I think that Kendrick Lamar, he took his time when everybody was counting him out. He took 2 weeks, but when he actually did attack, he had dropped 3 records in 3 days. Swift. So it's like, he waited strategically and he moved with extreme precision and the speed of light, right? Like we've never seen anything like that in such rapid time frame. It's always good to have other people champion you, right? As opposed to you championing yourself. Another great thing that Kendrick Lamar has done where he had the public talking about him, right? Where he's not on Instagram, he's not on Twitter, right? He has the public that's championing him and he's become like a man of the people. That's better than you saying like, I'm the best, I'm this, I'm that. Because if you keep championing yourself, you're going to garnish resentment as well, right? So I think he's done a great job at positioning from the aspect of he never talks, he doesn't do interviews, he's not on Instagram hardly, got like 2 posts on Instagram. But he's done a good job of having the public and other people, his peers, champion him so that his name is always being spread without him actually having to spread it. Then as far as trapping your opponents, I think that he definitely lured Drake into a trap.
Yeah, finally.
Calling him out 616. And he used Drake's formula, right? 2 back-to-back songs, calling him out. Then Drake drops a visual for a record that's actually a really good record. 6 minutes, 3 different beat changes. And then 10 minutes later, Kendrick Lamar drops and nobody cares about that record anymore. Right? It literally is like a solar eclipse. And then use other people's strengths. So it's like he used not only that, but he also used that Mustard song, the club song, right? And now this is an anthem. That's Drake's formula. If you look at Back to Back, if you look at Stay Scheming when he dissed Common, Drake would make these. He's like the first person to actually ever do that, right? Where he made a diss record into a #1 song. Usually diss records are not played in clubs. Drake was making a diss record and he did it with push-ups, but then Kendrick Lamar took that formula and did it with the Not Like Us. And now that's become like a West Coast anthem that they just going crazy to right now, right? So
historically, yes. Historically, I wouldn't give Drake the credit for doing that.
Who's done that?
Who was the first?
The Original started with that.
But that's not a club record.
That's where it started.
That's in the 80s.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm not giving Drake all the credit for that.
Modern hip hop. When you look at Ether, it's not a club record.
That's not.
Takeover is not a club record.
That's not getting played.
Second Round Knockout is not a club record.
No, I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying I don't want to give Drake the credit for it.
Well, you have to give him credit for it.
For modern day.
About modern day hip hop, and he pioneered it. So you have to give him the credit for it. But Kendrick, once again, he took his formula, he remixed it, and I think he executed his game plan flawlessly. and it's a case study. It's a case
Absolutely.
study on marketing, public perception, swaying public perception, execution, variety of different things that I think that I just looked at it from an interesting, like, okay, this is something that is bigger than just rap music. These are actually valuable business lessons. And when you're in business,
Absolutely.
this is a game. Like, it's a game of inches, and you gotta, it's like playing football. So it's like when you're dealing with your opponents, when you're dealing with your own product, when you're dealing with marketing, you have to be extremely thought out, extremely strategic. And for that reason, I think that Kendrick Lamar, I've never seen anybody execute at the highest level possible in this battle thing ever, other than him. He's done it flawlessly. And
he's done a great job.
He's done it flawlessly.
He's done a great job.
What did he do that was not flawless?
Well, so I said, what are we saying? I get what you're saying, right? Like, it doesn't matter what you're saying as long as people believe
It should matter though.
But at some point,
crazy.
it does matter, right? Like, if I can prove to you that I hear what you're saying, right? But at some point, I can't say it's flawless if I've given you information and you use that information, the false information, alleged. Like, this is all alleged, right? And you use that and you made a whole song about that. That's not flawless to me. Did he outclass him in this? Absolutely. The timestamp thing was brilliant. The dropping right after he was brilliant. What going directly at him was brilliant. Creating an anthem, not just for himself, but for an entire coast, anybody who feels like they have an opposition. Yeah, They Not Like Us is now the record, and it's back to back on steroids. I wouldn't be surprised
that remix come out.
If that comes out. I mean, it is on streaming services. That is going to be nominated for something. It'll probably win something. It was a masterclass, not flawed, but a masterclass. It is in my opinion, I think it's the greatest moment that we've seen in hip hop, maybe ever. Just like from the anticipation standpoint, what they were delivering. It's not easy. Like, these guys are they're the elite of this generation. To be able to create songs and have them readily available in the time frame that they're doing is no easy task. So I gotta give them. They both deserve a lot of credit for doing that.